YouTube, it's your boy JC Speaks, and I'm back for another video. Today I got a special guest with me. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sophia.
Yeah, so this video, guys, I wanted to talk about a topic that I've been meaning to talk about for a minute, but I wanted some additional insight and I wanted some wisdom, so I brought in Miss Sophia. We're gonna get right into it, guys. The topic is boundaries. Okay, this is something that I feel like is very important and that people need to be brought up to speed on, because it's crucial in relationships. It's crucial in how you live your life. So I'm gonna get right into it. I got some notes right here on my phone we're gonna go off of and just make some good points on a couple of topics. The first one is, what even is boundaries? What is a boundary? So I got a definition here, and I want this to sink. I want y'all to really get this. I want this to sink in. It literally means a dividing line. That's what a boundary is. So in other words, a boundary, one of the things it's designed to do is actually help you determine what gets access or what does not get access to your life or certain areas of your life. That's very important, because a lot of times we can just live and think, okay, we can just go with the flow. Okay. That's not the way. That ain't the way. Fam. You need boundaries. I don't care who you are. You need boundaries, fam. It will decide for you who gets to come into your life. Literally, you don't have to go through a bunch of changes with people. You can literally set boundaries up, and if they meet those boundaries, fine, we good. Okay, we can move forward in relationship, friendship, whatever. And if not, you know where y'all two stand at. Okay, so what do you think?
I think that it's really important that you are able to set boundaries, and your boundary setting determines what people have access to. You don't want to be giving people too much of yourself, because that is highly important. You're giving people pieces of yourself, and sometimes some of the people we're giving pieces of ourselves don't even deserve it. Not to be mean or anything. However, some of the people, let's think about it. You wasted all this time because we failed to set boundaries. And when you set boundaries, it gives people a cutoff. If you can't meet these certain boundaries, you can't meet these certain expectations, standards, it's your cue to go.
That's real, though. That's real. It just, one of the things that it also does is, like Sophia was saying, it saves you time. Your time is everything when it comes to this life. There is some times that you will never get back. Okay, failure to set boundaries literally puts a halt on your life in some aspects. It destroys time that you could be spent getting that degree, time you could be spent starting that company or being successful in that company. It's times that you can do whatever. Okay, because you refuse to set boundaries. So I think that's spot on. I'm a co-sign on that one. Why they're important, we just went over that. So again, guys, you may think that, if I just set a boundary, people are going to think I'm mean, or people are going to think that, I'm asking for too much, or that I have too high of standards. Well, that's not the case. You really have to think about it like this. How important is your life to you? How important is your time to you? How important is your relationship to you? Your emotional health? How important are those things to you? Okay, if you don't set boundaries, you're literally saying, I don't care about how I come out in either of those areas of my life, which is foolishness,
And that's important. Setting boundaries shows how much you care about your emotional state. Somebody said to me one time, if it costs you your peace, it costs too much. And nothing that's going to cost you to be emotionally unstable is worth it. So you have to set boundaries so people know how far they can go with you emotionally. And investing your time, time is something we cannot get back. So if you're investing time in people that doesn't even deserve it, I don't like to say that because, however, certain people, they're just a waste of time. And because you don't know how to set the right boundaries, because you don't know how to ask the right questions are important. That's a plug. But because you don't know how to ask the right questions, set these boundaries, or even know yourself. Knowing yourself is going to help you know what you're willing to negotiate and what you're not negotiating. Set some non-negotiables. What are you willing to negotiate in this friendship, relationship, in this work environment, and go from there. But the key concept of setting boundaries is, one, knowing your self-worth and what you're able to take, because we only accept what we think we deserve. So if you think you deserve people coming in your life being toxic, being disrespectful, that's the people that you're going to attract into your life. But if you have standards that's going to cut that off, the moment it comes, you're like, nah, I'm okay. You can hit the door with this one, because I'm good where I'm at. So
I agree, especially with the people coming into your life that are just being toxic or not good for you. You know, those people will literally see the boundaries that you have up and be like, okay, I can't get to this one, so I'm gonna move around. You will literally have to do little to no work if you put up the right boundaries. Okay, it's that crucial. Also, yes, identity is everything. You have to know yourself. That's probably the most important thing about, like, the important fact about this whole thing. You need to know yourself because you need to know what boundaries look like for you.
Correct.
Okay, everybody's boundaries can be different, but for you, you need to have a good grasp on who you are as a person. That's going to allow you to set boundaries. Okay, what do you think, Sophia, is like a good example of a boundary for a person?
Okay, so like, for instance, as a young believer, yeah, right. Setting boundaries is like really important because of the fact that it allows you, one, not to go against what your faith is. And I feel as if, especially being single and and being a woman, you have to be able to set clear boundaries when people come into your life, and telling them, hey, I'm not sleeping before marriage ain't happening, fam. Like, you have to be able to have those conversations. Yes, they can get awkward. Yes, but if you don't say that up front and allow the person to have that thought, like, hey, I'm coming into this person's life and she's not going to be sleeping around with me. So you give that person the clear. If that's not the wave he going to hit the door, right? But if that's the wave he's on, you continue to ask. But if you don't set those boundaries, you don't set those limits up front, this is not what we're not going to do. This is what we are going to do. This is what the person's going to feel as if they're owed. I owe it to them to do this because I didn't set the boundary. And communication is also important. People are not mind readers out here. We think that people can read minds.
No, I'm not.
Right. We think that people can read minds, and people cannot read minds. So you have to be clear at setting your boundaries. This is what I am not going to do. This is what I'm willing to do, and move it forward from there. Communication kills assumptions. That's another plug, right?
Bar after bar.
Nah. But communication does kill assumptions, because sometimes we're in relationships, friendships, and because you haven't set those clear boundaries, those clear expectations, people think that they can act or say things to you a certain way because those things have yet to be communicated. But you in your feelings, but the person don't know why you in your feelings. You not Drake. Get out of here. But anyway, right.
Yikes. Okay. But that's good. That's good. I agree. You have to be able to communicate your boundaries and communicate why it's a boundary for you. Because you can say all day long, like, hey, I need you to not do this, don't do this, or this is acceptable. You need to explain why. What's attached to that? Why? What does it make you feel like when that boundary is crossed? Like,
right.
How do you feel when people respect that boundary? Does that make you feel safe? Does that make you feel secure? Make you feel like loved? You know what I'm saying? So it's more than just, it's very important. It's almost like a life or death situation when it comes to any type of friendship, relationship, especially relationship. So just to piggyback off of the spiritual aspect of it, you know, being a Christian, being a believer, a lot of times we can look at this like, you know, okay, we can pray. And sometimes I'm guilty of it myself. Sometimes we can do it in prayer and be like, God, remove those people, you know, that don't serve me any purpose. But all the while he thinking like, fam, I've given you the power to do that. Like, there are some things that you have to do on your own. He's not gonna sit there like a genie and just, do your work for you. You have to. It's a partnership. You know what I'm saying? So there are certain things that you're gonna have to put into place. You're gonna have to make the boundaries. You're gonna have to create them. Okay, and then from there, you know where you stand with people. It's a deciding factor. Okay, so you don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder how they feel about you. What's their purpose for coming in your life. You don't have to guess those things. So I think that's very good.
And it's good to make space for new people. Oftentimes we fail, right? Because we have these friends, you making it, they're toxic, but you want to bring them with you. And let's be honest, they're not where you're trying to go. It's not, conducive for them. It's not, they can't go with you there. But because we're so emotional beings and we want to feel belonging and we want to be around people, sometimes we're around people that we should have been cut off. We should have been, put them out of our lives because of the fact that they constantly are breaking the boundaries. But like I stated before, and I'm going to continue to say this, like, we only accept what we think we deserve because of the fact that you didn't set no boundaries for yourself, because of the fact that you lack some type of clarity in some areas where you think this is probably acceptable. Sometimes our environments determine what boundaries we set. Sometimes our workplace determines what boundaries we set. Our siblings determines what boundaries we have to set, right? In ministry, we have to set certain boundaries. It's okay to set boundaries, and if people can't accept that, it's okay to allow them to leave, right? And allow new people who are willing to accept those boundaries, to respect those boundaries that you put in place in order to come into your life. It's okay to make space for new people. And oftentimes I think that's the hardest thing as being humans. We want to be around the same people. We want to be around the same friends. I'm cool with you, you know me, all this other stuff. But then at the end of the day, it's just like, is this person allowing you to grow? How much times has this person disrespected you? How much times has this person caused you to feel not safe, to have no type of security? And that's important when you're developing relationships, developing friendships. So setting those boundaries and knowing what are you going to allow people to cross in your life will set you free. Not the person, it will set you free. Because at the end of the day, you're not home thinking about what I could have said, what I should have said, what I should have did, what I could have did. You're like, nah, if you can't respect that, hit the road, Jack.
Yeah. And then I want to go into like some examples of like what a boundary could look like. Let's go like in relationships. So for instance, if you grew up in a household to where you always experience fighting, arguing between your parents, and the only way to express yourself is to raise your voice. The only way to try to get your point across is to raise your voice. Okay, you're gonna come into a relationship with somebody that's not built like that. So a boundary for them could be, hey, I grew up in a house like that, so look, we're not gonna yell at each other.
Correct.
If we have an issue, if we have a disagreement or whatever, we're gonna wait until we're both able to communicate before we go back and forth with each other, because we're not going to go, and I'm not going to be put back in that place. And here's why. Because when I was a kid, that's what I saw. And I thought that, that's the only way for me to communicate and get somebody to understand me is to yell and raise my voice. So that's a really prime example. Another one could be this. If your boundary in a relationship is like, we're not going to have friends, we can have friends that are the opposite sex, but it's all about, what's gonna be, and she may not agree with me on that. But what's too far with your friends? Like, are y'all spending time alone frequently? Or y'all like meeting up? Or like, if it's even acceptable to have friends of the opposite sex, you know what I'm saying? So there's a bunch of ways that you can spend that, and it's one of those things, man. It just makes life so much easier. There's no misunderstanding, or there should not be any. If you have clear boundaries, there should be little to no misunderstanding, I believe.
That is true. So, and especially like in relationships, because sometimes I would speak, because I am a woman, right? I'm going to speak for my ladies. Like, sometimes we want to feel loved and we want somebody, so we're not quote unquote lonely, right? and there's certain things we're going to accept, knowing that this person doesn't even meet the standards that you have for yourself or the goals and the vision that you have set for yourself, but we're going to accept it. Why? Because we don't have boundaries. We don't know the value of who we are. And I believe, like, as women, and when we get into those relationships, that's why our single season is important, where we are able to develop boundaries, where we are able to develop standards, where we are able to know who we are individually before that person comes into our lives, right? So when they come, you already have standards, like, you're not gonna yell at me, right? You're not gonna put your hands on me, especially if you come from a household that's what was normal, right? Because sometimes our environments create our norm. And that's important for you to communicate that to the person that you're going to be with up front. And if that is a character defect that they might have, then that relationship isn't for you. But I want women to stop lowering your standards because to appease a guy, to be in a relationship, but you're lowering your boundaries, you're lowering your standards just to have company, right? And that's not good. One, you're going back to an emotional cycle. Two, it's costing you your peace, sis, like it is. So we have to be mindful and be able to know how to set these boundaries so that, one, we're able to allow the right people into our lives. Boundaries should allow you to have the right people, the people that are willing to want to be in your life, the people that are important to be in your life, not toxic people that's not going to get you nowhere. So just my word of advice.
All good. Same for men too, bro, because it's like we'll complain sometimes, men, like, okay, I keep these girls that keep like thoughts and they not about nothing, they can't do nothing, they can't cook, they can't. But fam, it's all about, like, okay, keep it 1,000 too. Like, what exactly are you looking for when you're looking for a woman? You know, what are some boundaries that you have to create those things, like Sophia was saying, like in your single life, you know, so that when the time comes for you to start, you know, dating or looking to marry, it's almost automatic. Like, you shouldn't spend a lot of time, unnecessary time with somebody if you have clear boundaries.
Correct.
Okay, because you should make those known to them so there's no confusion, there's no
Correct.
misunderstandings. Like, this is where I'm at. This is a boundary for me. This is why. Okay, I'm willing to tolerate and accept this. I'm not willing to tolerate and accept that, and that just weeds people out. Okay, it just does. It's really that simple. And this is something that I would say over the last year or so of my life that I've been personally, like, trying to get better at, because I can, especially for us, and I'm gonna say this, and I know most of y'all will agree with me. If you're considered an empath, so a person that has a big heart, person that loves hard, you are the primary person that you can't afford to not have boundaries in your life.
Correct. That's a plug.
You cannot afford to. Your literal emotional health hangs in the balance. Okay, because you are the one that's going to have the attachment issues. You are the one that's going to, love people even when they're showing you that, they're only into your life to hurt you or to be toxic. You're the one that's going to keep going extra mile for people when they're not doing nothing for you. Okay, so it's so important for y'all. It's so important for us, and that's a lesson that I had to learn myself. It's like, you can be nice, but you don't have to be. Just because you're nice doesn't mean you have to be naive. You don't have to be naive to people. You don't have to be naive to what's going on in the world, okay? You still have to set boundaries for yourself, because people are not going to do it. If you give people the chance to do what they want, 9 times out of 10, they're going to do it, okay? And hey, it is what it is. It's sad sometimes, but that is what it is. That's how life is. That's how people are. So we need those. It's a necessity. You feel me? It's not an option, okay? If you value your emotional health, if you value your mental space, okay, if you value your future, you will set clear boundaries in your life, okay? So I am beyond convinced now, more than ever, that going forward, especially in my life, and I'm sure Miss Sophia can attest to this, that every relationship or friendship that I approach going forward, boundaries will be set into place, okay? It's not even a second thought. All right. Yes, the right questions will be asked.
Mighty.
Yes, I will make it clear what my will do's and won't do's are. Okay, because that's all a part of being making sure that you're taking care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. You can be humble and take care of yourself. Okay. Don't make people think. Don't let people make you think that just because you have a standard of your life that you're considered conceited or whatever. That's not the truth. Okay. And to keep it 1,000 with you, most people that say that are the people that are coming into your life to be toxic. Okay. That's why they're saying that. Okay. So it's all wisdom at the end of the day, guys. We thank you guys for listening to us. We hope that we was able to help you guys out and give you guys some good knowledge, some good nuggets to take with you guys and apply to y'all's lives. Please don't listen to what you just heard and just let it stay on this video and stay on the internet. Actually apply it, guys, and you will see a difference. I promise you. You will see a difference in the quality of person that comes to your life, the quantity of people that come into your life. You will see a huge difference. I'm telling you, I'm living it. Okay, so this guys is for you guys. Take it and run with it, and we'll see you guys, or I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.